Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I am delighted to be able to recognise the visit to Australia by Penpa Tsering, the Sikyong elected leader of the Tibetan government in exile, and welcome him to the chamber today. Having travelled to Dharamshala, it is so good to be able to return the hospitality. Since 1959, many Tibetans have fled their homeland. Some are in the Blue Mountains in my own electorate of Macquarie, where they tell me how much they value their freedoms. It's vital Australia keeps speaking out about our serious concerns on human rights in Tibet, publicly and privately, directly with China and in multilateral forums. Our Foreign Minister has consistently done this. In March, the Assistant Foreign Minister delivered Australia's national statement at the Human Rights Council, expressing our concerns about reports of the erosion of educational, religious, cultural and linguistic rights and freedoms in Tibet. There are disturbing reports by UN experts of Tibetans being forcibly transferred to vocational training programs and of separation of Tibetan children from families in government-run boarding schools. And we are deeply concerned by reports of the detention of Tibetans for expressing peaceful political views or for religious expression, the excessive security measures, mass surveillance, restrictions on travel and China's policies on Tibetan cultural rights and heritage. It is good to have the Sikyong here to highlight these issues, and you have my support.
Today, the Australian Parliament is immensely privileged to welcome the Sikyong, the President of the Tibetan government in exile, to our House. In April this year, I was deeply honoured to join a cross-party delegation to Dharamshala to meet His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan government in exile. Right now, the Tibetan people are facing their own stolen generation with a campaign of assimilation. A recent UN report revealed the rise of Chinese government-run residential schools in Tibet, whereby around 1 million Tibetan children have been mandatorily removed from their families and are being raised in boarding schools from preschool age. They are not taught in their own language and are permitted little contact with their families and thus divorced from their culture, religion and traditions. Another most critical of issues for the Tibetan people is the plan of the Chinese government to intervene in the succession of the 14th Dalai Lama. The succession process is a deeply religious, centuries-old rite that lies at the heart of Tibetan Buddhist tradition. It is unthinkable that this process could be usurped or interfered with in any way for political reasons. The right to religious freedoms is a central tenet of both our democracies, and it is my hope that Australia will continue to stand up for religious rights of the people of Tibet.